Hello YouTube. Welcome to Arduino powered laptop part 3. So to start off, looking on the inside from the previous video, you know that a lot of this wasn't done yet. So all the keyboards wired, all the resistors, as well as our potentiometer up in the corner. And as far as the wiring down here, I have everything hooked up to the board, but the board is still not hooked down to the surface yet, so that would be a thing to fix if I could. As far as the onboard power supply, I'm not using that yet, just so it's easier to have a USB cable coming out so I can program it without having to unplug it from the onboard power. And the onboard screen is still not there, but everything besides that is wired up. So looking at it function, I did actually write my own program. So basically what it says is Arduino laptop system select a function. We have, so how it's going to work is it's going to start up here, and then there's going to be a list of programs that you can choose from. Right now all we have is a rectangle game and typing. Typing doesn't work at all yet. I need to program that, but the rectangle game does show you some functions. So looking at the keyboard, if we select this key right here, it takes us to the rectangle game, which basically what this is you move a rectangle on the screen with your potentiometer. So it still has lag, just because of otherwise this square would move very fast. This is supposed to be a game, it's not really anything yet. It kind of looks like a mix between Pong and Breakout, but it does demonstrate that you can scroll with this potentiometer across the screen. So let's get back to writing more complex programming for this machine. Everything's set into an input. We have our resolution, NTSC, and our font size. So here's what you saw in the first part, where it says laptop system, select a function, rectangle game, and typing. So going into the actual thing right here, this is the actual rectangle game. So if we press a button called A button, which is not A on the keyboard, but it is in the software. So the TV draws a rectangle and it moves the rectangle to correspond with the sensor value of the potentiometer designated on analog pin 4, and its initial value is 0. So additional programming that I did is that all of the pins are set to high with pull-up resistors. So it says right here, when a button is high, you play the rectangle game. So this basically means you can play this game as long as you don't touch the button. But when you touch a button, it should break, and it should take you to this thing, which is basically back to the home page. Right now on the software, how it is programmed in the Arduino, you cannot go back once you have selected. So this should allow us to do that. Let's check our code and see if there's any mistakes. Apparently not. So let's load this up and try to work with it. Okay, so after editing a bit more and uploading the program a few times, I made a few minor changes. First will be notice the break was moved from up here to down here. This is so it will print out all of this before it breaks and returns to the loop. There was no syntax errors when I uploaded it, so that's good. But it should do this now. We still don't have typing yet, so we gotta do that later. Okay, so now we are back to our home screen. So we take our pen and press button, and we have the game now, or whatever it is, mainly just the mouse feature. So we can play with that, and then we can press a button, and we are back to our home screen. So you can do this a lot. Press one button, play the game, back to the home screen. So to get a closer look, none of these buttons are actually labeled how they function. I wanted to build a full QWERTY keyboard, but I realized I had to have pull-up resistors, and that took up extra space. And the wiring was very big, so we didn't do that. But as we press this, it's this key actually. So we're in the game, and the N key, you have to hold this one down a little bit, so we're back. So if the game was actually an actual game, this might be something you would want to use, but obviously it's not right now. I still have to have it. I want to do kind of like a Pong, except sideways breakout type thing, but if we do that, see, it's not really anything yet. Also, there's this lag. I want to get rid of it, but it's not necessarily a problem right now just because it still works, even though this is here, because we have to constantly refresh it. But for the typing function, I want to be able to type on this. I just haven't thought out the best way to type using our variety of keys. Maybe I would add a switch that would function something similar to a shift key to change the function of a key. We have plenty of space on the inside of our thing, yeah, to put more keys, but I really don't know if there is enough room for wires. The only option I would have now would just be to use the keys we have here. The space key could be one of them. Or we could have it where the potentiometer can shift between different values for a key for typing. And typing anyway isn't going to be that fast since we've got to use this thing. Other additions I would like to do for this device would be using things such as Sega Genesis and Atari 2600 controllers, which are very simple using the 9-pin D-sub connector. We could just put a few on the sides. So that would be an addition we would have. Other additions would be, of course, the screen, fixing that, and getting the onboard power supply to work. On the internals of this device, let's see, onboard power supply is just consists of a cigarette lighter adapter with a USB card charger going to a barrel connector at the end of the port. I'd like to maybe use a 5-volt voltage regulator, mounting it onto the aluminum as a heat sink, or other than that, also a battery might be useful for USB for increased portability, but we don't want this to be portable right now because it barely does anything at all, which doesn't justify its function. So programming this device would be our concern for now.